summary of where we got to, and then if you like the tributes from people that couldn't attend, we can go through those. So that's we think it's the first time we met the Stevenson household. Quite a few of the people, Gerda, she came today, and her husband John, and then a gentleman called Rowley. And when we were at Wembley saying the Newmans, the Whitemans and the Stevensons were going to set up a congregation in Reading, that was the first time they attended Reading. Their son and daughter had been there, so that was their first visit, and they heard us saying, oh, we're going to start one in Reading, and they said, would you mind if we came along? And we said, well, what are your qualifications, you know? And both of them said we'd previously been elders, and we said, well, that probably qualifies. Come with us. So we had, on day one, 4 families, plus Rowley, on day one. And that wasn't our work. So I'll leave you to decide who it was. And then if you like, from John and Gerda and their children, we then met the Rosamers, because their children were friends. And then we had their family coming, which is 5 or 6 people, and they're still with us today, the Rosamers. John and Gerda would be, it's just that they live up north. And then I think Zelma is there somewhere. There's Zelma. There's Ian.
Zelma's here somewhere.
And Denise. And there's Sarah Berger. And Alec is somewhere there. That's my arm. So we're really pleased, if you like, that just for God's providence that we managed to start the congregation bigger than some of the ones that have been around for a long time on day one. And because of their connections. And the Christian worker went to a lady that lives in New Zealand, who phoned up to her daughter, who lived in Bracknell, 10 miles away, and said, there's a Church of Christ in Reading, why don't you come? And within 4 months of us starting, we had Ian and Katrina, and their young daughter was the girl with big blue eyes. So we've been really blessed with lots of people that have come to our congregation. I knew that wasn't all right. I'll stand this side. So, George and Mary, let me read you. It's a tribute to the body of Christ in Reading, that 10 years of service and praise to God's name is being celebrated. Special thanks is in order for those visionary saints who established the work, and to all the brothers and sisters who have served in and built up the work over the 10 years. It was our duty and pleasure to have been there during 2006 to 8 period, in service to him with the people we knew previously and with others who came to know and love from serving there. May God continue to bless and enrich and mature the Reading Church, and may the church be faithful to him. And George and Mary worshipped at Wembley Church, and then I walked past an office at work and looked in, thought, that guy looks like George McCleskey, but it can't be. Why would he have moved to the States and then come back and then be working in my office? But he was. Again, I'll leave you to decide whose hand that was. So, Chuck and Marcy, we have so many fond memories of our 5 years with you all in Reading. Still shaking our heads, it was 5 years ago. We all remember going round and round the roundabout just outside there, trying to find out where you are for the very first time. And it was me that went out to find him, waving at the side of the road saying, and you came out and got us. We met those 2 scary German ladies.
Is that front?
Mostly though, so many families in that time and so many wonderful memories. Mostly through it all though, tremendous opportunity for work and growth in the church and our faith. Emily and Rachel have great memories of Tayside youth weekends, fellowship and friendship. So Emily also wrote to us. She says, my favourite time with Reading was all the youth weekends that we went to, especially Camp Tayside. Another interesting memory that stands in my mind was when she was with Gregory on the train. And I'm not quite sure what happened, but they weren't allowed to sit in the seats that they were in. And they got kicked out and had to stand or sit in the luggage compartment. And she said it was funny at the time. Well, it wasn't funny at the time, but now looking back on it, it seems quite funny. I really miss Reading. I'm sad and I can't be there for the anniversary. Carla and Gil Teague. Today I'm thankful for the Reading Church of Christ in Reading, UK. They wrapped their arms and hearts around our family when we were so battle fatigued from dealing with so many trials that our faith was truly in the balance. I shudder to think what would have happened to us if there'd just been another judgmental, legalistic and dead congregation. Everyone at Reading, you are crown jewels. Our family has you forever in our hearts. Keep up the good work, being in God's hand. And from Sydney, my time at Reading was amazing. Not only was every member welcoming and chatty, 16-year-old girl from the Midwest of America, but it helped shape that girl into a young woman who later ventured off to university with the determination to find a church home just as loving as the one she left. Some of my best memories are from my time at Reading, and I still retain best friendships made therein. I'll always treasure the good times, and I'll always think of Reading very fondly. And Kevin and Jennifer Barnes, I think the best thing about Reading is how we instantly felt part of the Reading family. From the first day we felt welcomed. I never forget how the kids begged us to attend there as soon as we got back in the car. And this was their third church visit. The way you embrace new people is something special. Don't lose that. And we talked about John and Gerda.
John and Saskia.
And this is John and Saskia now. So we were first members at Wembley, but we were spending a lot of weekends away in Surrey visiting John's family. We went, this is Saskia talking about her husband John. We went with them to church meeting where they were happening in Derek and Heidi's house, and we really felt at ease in everyone's company. It wasn't long until we started meeting in the community centre and the church just grew. Eventually we moved to Reading and then on to Swindon, but still made the 45-minute journey to church as it was the people who helped make it worthwhile. Denise and Heidi, and their hubbies of course, always made us feel at home and gave great encouragement and were like the aunties of the church, always ready to lend an ear and to help in whatever way they could. We miss all the lovely people in the Reading congregation and send love from the Morningside Church here in Auckland, New Zealand. Love John, Saskia, Eve and Kate. And then from Anna, from my time at Reading Church of Christ was a wonderful and blessed one. I became part of the kingdom during that time, and I met really lovely and accommodating people who I've really learnt a lot from and won't forget. People who welcomed me and assisted me in my journey towards knowing and understanding the things of God. I'm just filled with so much gratitude to God for giving me the opportunity to meet the Reading Church of Christ congregation, who have encouraged me and helped me grow spiritually. Miss you guys, and God bless you all. Asif, the time we shared with the Reading group, money cannot buy. We treasure the company, the warmth, the love, the kindness, the support, not forgetting the singing, and most of all belonging to a group that so eagerly, selflessly endeavour to seek the true will of God. A group that makes effort to live and practice the perfect will of the one who called us. I'm so proud to have been associated with you folks. We miss you always and pray that God gives you maturing strength, wisdom and knowledge, so to retain effective and productive, to remain effective and productive. Ian and Denise, my favourite time was Reading. I'm reading the wrong one. The problem is where to start with all the memories. Getting the building was a huge blessing, considering the circumstances at the time. And another of my favourite memories is when we went to pray with over Iona, Katrina and Shanine. Basically the three families who were all wanting to be families. And they all got pregnant within a short time period after that prayer session. It was, she should have said that, and the way the men came over. It was amazing to be able to watch God at work, a privilege I won't forget. Pete, you have no idea how much I wish I could be there. I'd much rather be in Reading than taking summer school. I hope there's a great number that turn out, and apparently we're going to see them in December. And one of the congregations or the ministers that we support in Reading. I had to change this to protect the innocent, but I think I've rephrased it correctly. God bless Reading Church of Christ. I wish more celebrations happened in your congregation. First, let me thank God Almighty to save more souls through your congregation, to support poor evangelists, to doing good work in India, and your benevolent help to people affected by disaster. I wish Reading Church to grow day by day by the grace of God. Thanking you, George Raju Vara. Okay, well, I think I don't need to say any more than the tributes that you've heard, and luckily I can hand you back to Edmund, who can do some songs now for
How much time do I
you.
have? How much time do I have?
You can take a time. We officially finish at 6, and then maybe while we're packing up, I might do the games at the front for those that want to stay for the games. So you've got up until 6.
Okay.